Hello YouTube, I'm Jack Clark, here, coming to you with another video. How are you? So today is a deck profile. Now I said previously in my Batteryman guide video that of course 9V makes the deck fantastic, and I thought since it's now on Dueling Network, I thought I'd give it a bit of legwork, see what I can do with it, and this is the build I've come up with. However, of course, with the introduction of 9V into Batteryman decks, there are actually multiple versions of the deck you can do. This of course is a more pure variant, so I will hence be referring to it as the pure variant, but of course there is a more 100 heavy variant, and of course if you'd like to see something with a 100 build in future, then do say so. Otherwise I'm just going to stick it to this one. But this is the deck I like the most. I have tried the 100s and I am using a couple of 100s, but this is my build. So I'm going to go through the deck, of course, as we go. You know the drill. Go through the deck, tell you what it is, tell me the choices, yada yada yada. So let's first off start with the MVP. Oh my god, Batteryman 9V. Now for those of you who don't know, of course, when it's summoned you add a Batteryman from your deck to your hand, and then you double his original attack and defense. Now since the previous video, his minor effect in that he was sent to the graveyard, he was destroyed, in fact, when during the end phase, has changed slightly, so he will only destroy himself during your end phase, which is even better, because if you summon this off of Microcell, then immediately you have a 2k beta until the end of your next turn, which means you can use it as tribute fodder for Charger, which is awesome. So 9V is fantastic in this deck. It gets all the plays going. You want to get this searching as soon as possible. Hence, a lot of the card choices are here to optimize getting 9V out of your deck and into use as soon as possible. This card's amazing. I love this card. Oh dear lord, it's good. Anyway, next off we have Batteryman AAA. We have 3 copies of this one. Batteryman AAA, of course, it goes with the rank 4 aspect of the deck, just like the inclusions of Honda. 9V, of course, being a level 4, makes rank 4s, that's the thing, and AAA is a very good facilitator for this, even though it has 0 attack and 0 defense, and when it's normal summoned or if they face up, keep in mind, of course it summons another AAA from your hand or graveyard. That doesn't sound too good, but it's an instant rank 4, and if you can get one into the graveyard, then of course that means you have instant rank 4s with each subsequent copy of Batteryman AAA, which is awesome, and I mean it's a fantastic card, because getting that first AAA into the graveyard is uber easy, because I mean what you can do is use like Microcells and Chargers to summon them from the deck, and then use those copies with your 9V for Exeases, and then of course all the you can then search for your AAAs with subsequent 9V, so you can get more rank 4s. So this is a very rank 4 centric deck, which is of course that is why there is a Honda version, but this one likes to OTK a lot more than it likes to control the field. And we're going to go to Batteryman Charger now, who is the key card when constructing those OTK plays. Now, I forgot, this is a level 5 monster that gets its effect when it's normal summon, so it's kind of, you get to special summon a Batteryman monster from your deck, except another Charger, and gains 400 attack and defense for each Thunder type monster on the field. So this card can get pretty big with three other Thunder type monsters on the field. It will have 3,000 attack points. Very commonly it will have at least like 24, 20, 27, which is a very good and healthy amount, and really does help towards OTKing. Of course, it being able to special summon a Batteryman from the deck though is the main facilitator of it, because this summons anything from the deck pretty much, except, well, non-Batterymen and of course the Nomi. But this card, of course, being able to summon Fuel Cell, which of course 2100 attack point beta that can bounce stuff, which is awesome, plus getting your AAAs out of the deck so subsequent ones can be live, and of course 9V, because it will gain its effect when special summon from Charger, and because its effect will make it a 2000 attack point beta, it makes it a good 1-2 punch, allowing you to search as well for future plays. So Charger is great. However, I'm not using 3 copies of it. I previously used 3 copies. However, as you can probably tell, the deck's got quite a lot of high level monsters, and it can get rather cloggy because this one can't special summon itself from the hand, and actually requires you to have a setup before you can actually play it. So I'm using 2 just for non-cloggy purposes. Next off, we have 3 copies of Batteryman Fuel Cell. Personally, my favourite Batteryman, in addition to being a giant pink battery. Let me just sing that in. Oh my god. It is a really good card. In addition to the fact it is level 6, which of course that doesn't mean it has any level synergy with Charger, which of course is a level 5, and Industrial Strength that is level 8. So you don't have too many Exeas options with this. However, you will be able to drop multiple fuel cells at any one time, which means you have rank 6 plays, which is fantastic. Now, for those of you unaware of his effect, he has a Blackwing effect. He can summon itself from the hand if you control Batteryman monsters, but you have to control at least 2 Batteryman monsters to do this, which is uber easy because, of course, since you can just search for them with 9-volt, and Charger can summon another monster directly from the deck, and of course AAA, as much as it will go you for rank 4s, as soon as you activate its effect and resolve the effect, you will have 2 Batteryman monsters on the field. Fuel Cell's stupidly easy to get out, plus its secondary effect is, oh, it is invaluable. We're allowing you to, of course, tribute a Batteryman on the field, except, of course, itself, to return a card your opponent controls to their hand, which is fantastic because it's not even just monsters, it's any card. So you can bounce back row if you want to make an OTK push, or of course get rid of an annoying monster that has some kind of destruction protection, like BLs, which is annoying as hell. But this card is fantastic, and what I like to do most of the time is, of course, if I were to use a 9-volt effect or whatever, I'll go Charger into Fuel Cell, and then, of course, knowing me, I've probably searched for another Fuel Cell with a 9-volt, and it allows me to summon another one from my hand. Charger, Fuel Cell, they go for a load of attacks, and then I'll overlay next during my main phase 2 for a Constellar Ptolemy's M7 to get cards from my graveyard for next turn, where I can make more pushes. Or depending on the matchup, I go for Strike Bouncers, completely locking out most of their on-field effects. And this card just wrecks shit. But yeah, so Fuel Cell, fantastic. I use 3 copies of that. Next off, we have Batteryman Industrial Strength. Batteryman Industrial Strength. I love this card so much. However, this is a slightly different one because it's a Nomi, which means it's a little bit harder to play. Of course, you can special summon it very easily without having much setup. You just need to have Batteryman monsters in your graveyard. However, you have to banish those monsters to summon it. You have to banish 2 Batteryman monsters in your graveyard to summon this card. And that can be quite annoying, which is why I don't play any more than 1. However, I do play 1. Simply because you can special summon it from your hand pretty easy, which actually gives you a way of getting easy Charger tribute fodder without having to interfere with any other cards on the field or use your normal summon, which is invaluable on certain times. But in addition to the fact that it has a secondary effect allowing you to banish a Thunder type monster in your graveyard to destroy a monster and a spell or trap card on the field. So you get to banish something in your graveyard to destroy 2 cards, which is awesome. Of course, this is what will be baiting out Veilers and all that kind of stuff, and it's a fantastic card, in addition to having 2600 attack points, which isn't too much considering it's a level 8, but that does mean that it can contribute to OTKs alongside Chargers and Fuel Cells and 9-volts and all the shebang. So this is invaluable, and I use at least 2, at least 1 even, because, well, I need more than that and it will get cloggy and dead. Plus, you don't want to be banishing your Batteryman in your graveyard so much because you will be summoning them back from the graveyard more times than not. Next off, we have Batteryman Microcell. I love this card, probably my second favourite Batteryman. Fifth effect monster, of course, which means it can get quite slow. Sometimes you will not, you'll go for an entire game, have access to this in your opening hand or whatever, but you won't need to because it's level 1, doesn't have any rank 4 Xyz synergy or anything like that. However, it is a +1 with its effect and allows you to easily go for a 9-volt to then search again with 9-volt. So this card is fantastic, just allowing you to get your 9-volts searching if you get it early game. And of course, being able to draw after it's destroyed by battle after being face up is also invaluable. So I use 3 copies of it just to maximize opening it with it early. But actually, sometimes you don't need to. Using 2 copies is also reasonable, but I use 3 just to maximize opening with it. Now we have over with the Batterymen, and we have the support ones. We have 2 copies of Mahunda. Now this isn't always used in the pure variants. However, of course, this is invaluable considering its synergy with 9-volt. Of course, as you should know by now, Mahunda, you use its effect to normal summon a level 4 light thunder type monster from your hand, and of course 9-volt fits the bill. And of course it will gain its effect when normal summoned via Mahunda, allowing you to get a search, and then since you can you can go around the bad point of it destroying itself during the end phase, because you could just Xyz with it. So you can go for what? Constellar Omega, which is always quite a nice default play, or you can go for Lava Chain and set up that other plays, but basically it allows you to go Mahunda, 9-volt, search, overlay, Xyz, good. If you can get this and this in your opening hand, you will be sitting pretty for most of the duel. Last monster, we have Thunder Seahorse. Now I use 3 copies of this simply to maximize the efficiency of getting 9-volt into the game as soon as possible. However, this is not the best way to get 9 Volt onto the field. This is an annoying card because it stops you from special throwing during the turn that you use it. So a lot of the time, sometimes this will be laying dead in your hand because you need to be making pushes. But it's an okay card. I mean, if you get it early on in the game, then of course it can search for your 9 Volts. It can also search for your Batteryman AAA, and of course Marhunter is also a target because you've got 2 copies of it as well. And of course it is a plus, which is fantastic. But getting the 9 Volt is really where this card shines, and of course it itself is a target, so lots and lots of pluses with this card. So I am using 3 simply so it can get access to 9 Volt. Not the best way of summoning 9 Volt, but it still gets 9 Volt, which is what the entire deck hinges on it, so you can't really argue with that. Next, we've got our spell lineup. So we've got 10 spells. We've got Batteryman charges at 3, Book of Moon, Dark Hole, 3 Mystical Space Typhoons, and 2 Short Circuits. Now, of course, the staple Moon, Dark Hole, and Typhoons are obvious. This is an OTK deck, so 3 Typhoon, yeah. And Dark Hole and Book of Moon are just there because staples, plus Book of Moon can flip down a Batteryman AAA and Microcell for an additional use. But we also have 3 battery charges. I'm not using Soul Charge in this deck. I have tried variants with Soul Charge, and I would use like maybe 1, maybe 2 at a push in this deck. However, I found having to pay that many life points and not being able to use your battle phase as well to be a bit, actually, it's, as detriments go, it is really quite annoying. Of course, I will test it again because there'll be naysayers that are saying, oh my god, Soul Charge is just amazing. But actually, this deck special summons plenty from the graveyard without having to have the hitch of not being able to battle that turn. And I genuinely, if you can't summon a Quasar off of a Soul Charge, then what are you doing really? This deck can't really use Soul Charge to the same degree as other decks, so I'm just using regular charges because, you know, Batterymen. But yeah, Battery Charger, pay 500 life points, summon a Batteryman from the graveyard. It's their Monster Reborn. It is fantastic. Triggers off your 9 Volts, and it's just great. Summon Charger, Tribute Fodder. Summon back a Fuel Cell if you want more attack points or whatever. It's fantastic. It's great. Use free because it's awesome. And yeah, like I've always said. But now we've got Short Circuit. Short Circuit only uses 2 copies because it can get cloggy and, well, dead most of the time because you have to control at least 3 or more Batteryman monsters to play the card. That does happen a hell of a lot. However, early game, you don't want to be drawing this. So I use 2. But, I mean, you use at least 2 simply because it can destroy all cards your opponent controls. Now, I don't care about power creep. That's still going to be an amazing card no matter when you play it. So this card, if you can get it off, it is fantastic, and it is the OTK card. It is the win button right there. So I use 2, but in other builds you may want to use less or even more if you like dead cards, but I would recommend 2. So next is my trap lineup. Most of it's pretty generic. Phoenix Change, Evac, Bottomless, Mirror Force, you know, Warning, Torrential. It's pretty standard. But we also have Portable Battery Pack, which of course is a Call of the Haunted for Batterymen, but of course you summon 2 from the graveyard. I love this card. I briefly didn't use it, and I don't know why I did that, because you use this during your opponent's end phase, summon a 9 Volt and whatever else you want, you get a search with that, and then next turn, you can then tribute the other target for a charger, for example. You use charger to summon maybe another 9 Volt actually. Summon another 9 Volt, get another search, overlay the 2 9 Volts for an XCs. Oh my god, pluses, 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 pluses. Plus it's really quite nice as a defensive measure as well, because you do have some pretty decent targets like charger, fuel cell, and 9 Volt, which of course get at least 2,000 attack points between them, so it's quite nice to be able to do that. But this is really good for XCs and facilitating as well, because of course you can't summon another charger with a charger, but you can summon 2 chargers with a battery pack, for example, which allows you to go for Pleiades, which is also in the extra deck. But yeah, that's the main deck, and of course the extra deck is mainly rank 4s. However, of course, we do have some rank 5s and some rank 6 as well. Rank 6 being M7 and Photon Strike Bouncer, like I've already said. And we also have Pleiades, which of course can work with M7 anyway. And of course Omega, because Omega is Omega and it's in a light deck and it's awesome. You'll notice there isn't an Honest in this deck. I'm honestly not using Honest. Oh, you see what I did there? I'm not using Honest simply because I don't have the space for it, and it's an OTK deck only. So actually, most of the time, I don't want it, and it's not a Thunder type monster either, or a Batteryman. So actually, a lot of the time, it's just going to be dead. But if you can fit one in, I would, just simply because it gives you a little bit more control. I mean, that's the reason why I'm using my Hunters, because you're not always going to be able to OTK. Sometimes you need to slow roll this deck, and it will pay off, but you just need to kind of, you know, slow roll it. Other notable XEs are Castel, Avian, Skyblaster. This is great. Of course, it's got 2 effects. One allowing you to detach an XE's material to flip a face-up monster face down defense position like Maestro, but it also has an additional effect allowing you to detach 2 materials to target a face-up card on the field and shuffle it into the deck. So that's a nice bit of spot removal, which doesn't destroy. So that's nice, and it's generic rank 4. And of course, Ragnar 0, which is just silly. Rank 4 is just ridiculous rank. It's got an answer to pretty much everything. Of course, with 9101 and Exiton being the key cards there. But yeah, this basically rank 4s and a hell of a lot of OTKing with your fuel cell, your charges, and your industrial strength. This deck is amazing. I really like it. It is not tier 1 by any means, but it is a great and really fun deck, and I do recommend you give it a go. Of course, like I said, they are on Dueling Network, so give them a go. This is my build. Tell me what you think about it in the comments down below, or as a video response, really would like to hear from you. But that's pretty much it, guys. I'm Jack Clark, the Yugi Musketeer. More videos coming out to you soon, but until then, goodbye.